Hey, Dad, can I ask you a question?
Go to it.
All right, Dad, I want to start this week with another question for you. I have
Uh-oh.
many questions today, but
Yeah.
this one I think is important to talk about because, as you know, as some people don't know about me, is like tattoos have become a thing for me. And I kind of wanted to ask you, like, other, like, setting aside like financial, whatever, how come you've never gotten one?
I don't believe in desecrating my body. No. You know what? You know what? I just never came up with a good idea, and, like I think I said it on the last podcast, I seem to be following my son a little bit. And it's like, tattoos weren't really a big thing when I was, 20 years old, 25 years old in my friend group. And it really only got big when you announced that you got a tattoo. And, I remember your mother being a little upset with it.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, so what? Now you have a lot of tattoos, your latest one is absolutely great.
Thank you.
Your Pink Floyd one.
Yeah.
I wonder who introduced you to Pink Floyd.
You did.
Yeah.
That's a big reason why it's there. It reminds me of you. It reminds me of the music I love. Like I like that tattoos, at least like for me, I want when someone looks at it, like I don't necessarily want them to know what it means right away or even like what it means to me right away, but I like the idea of like basically like
well, it's a conversation, I think. It creates a conversation.
Yeah, but like I feel like what I'm trying to get at is I like that like it's parts of my life, like but now they're like in me, a part of me. It's almost like someone said it best. It's like I become this walking museum of like artwork, but like that's like it pertains to me and only me. Like it's stuff that like I like that means something to me.
Well, I think they're kind of cool because I noticed that when you sit down on the couch, when I had the luxury of having you here, like you can read it, but it's upside down to other people. So
no. It's actually upside down to me.
Oh, then I don't know them that well. Okay, then I'm not really paying attention. But listen, I get it. Tattoos are just it represents who you are, what you've done, and it's kind of it sounds like yours are a little bit like a walk down memory lane.
Totally, especially when I look like I'm already seeing that walk down memory lane, but even like in the future, it'll be really cool to see what's there and what's changed. Like there's going to be some that I probably don't like or that don't resonate with who I am 20 years from now, but I'm not going to get it removed.
Right. And so go back to the question. So, that concerns me that not for you. You do what you want.
Right.
It concerns me for me because maybe I got a bike or 20 years ago, I had a customer who had a Helen Cycles tattoo on his calf. And it's like, that's going to be me until I die. People are always going to know that, or even KD,
That'd be cool to get like a little deli top tattoo.
Just KD. How about just a KD on it, but I'm concerned because I think about it, because I think about what happens when I'm 80 years old. And I'm like, wow, it's all, skin's all wrinkly. And I'm like, do I really want this on my body? But
I don't see the thing is
where I go with it.
And here's where I go is that life is short, live for the moment. And I'm not thinking about what it's going to look like in 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, let alone when I'm 80 fucking years old.
That's fair. You know what? And you know what? Good for you. Different generation.
Like it is a different generation. I don't feel like you can, this is just to even pull it a step, further. I don't think that that's a way to live at all. I don't think that's a way to live, like thinking about, I think like financially it's important to think in the future.
Yeah.
But like, as far as like what you're going to do on a day to day and, how, like, I don't feel like I want to live my life thinking about like, oh, well, what if I do this, what's it going to look like in 20 years? Or if I do that, other than like something horrible. Like,
it's like women get everything lasered down there,
Right.
And it's like, are they really going to want to look at it, when they're 85 years old? Yeah, so
Terrible.
maybe, if you don't get it lasered, maybe, some pubic hair can cover it up a little bit, I don't know. It just, you're right though. You're absolutely right. And you know what, you're teaching me things all the time, like other than financially, why worry so much about the future? And, yeah, but it's just things I think about. What can I tell you?
You can think about them.
And
I'm
also,
saying you can't think about them.
And I will say this, I think a tattoo came up in my brain. Or no, it was pierced ears, because pierced ears were really big when I was in high school and junior high school.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of my friends got their ears pierced, guy friends. And my father was like, over my dead body. So he said to me, no earrings, no tattoos, and no motorcycles.
This episode is sponsored by Helen Cycles, taking good care of people and their bikes since 1936. Serving Southern California with locations in Santa Monica and Manhattan Beach, with brands like Trek, Santa Cruz, Pinarello, and Colnago. We'll see you on the bike.
But we all had like the magnetic earrings,
right,
or the little clamps that kind of made an indentation in your ear.
I think I had one.
Yeah, you had one? Great.
Yeah.
I didn't even know about it. And I did know about it. I didn't care. And then obviously I had the motorcycle, which they didn't know about they didn't know about the motorcycle for about 7 or 8 years. And then I finally told them about it.
Right. So what do you think though? You think that, so like my grandparents, they don't know I have tattoos because, born in a Jewish family, it's not really the thing.
No.
It's like, actually, some would say, depending on the type of Jew that you are, would say it's like frowned upon.
Well, it's sacrilegious because we were all tattooed in the Holocaust. And therefore, you can't, supposedly you can't be buried in a Jewish cemetery, which I spoke to my rabbi about that. And he said that's complete nonsense. Listen, again, another generation, right? Because they're a little bit closer to the Holocaust and they're all born during the Holocaust, right?
Right.
In the United States.
Yeah.
It's not happening to them when they're 2 years old, but and I understand that and I respect that. And, maybe my time will come. Who knows?
I think
my
it will.
Parents are gone. I don't know. Maybe it comes before.
I think it will. I think I have a vision that you and I, like a year from now, maybe 9 months from now, you're gonna get the same tattoo I have, and because you did love it. It was the first.
It was great.
You've
whoever designed it, fantastic job.
You've actually said in the past, like, like when I show you a new one, you're like, oh, that's cool, like if you like it. But this one, I was actually pretty touched by the reaction you had to it. And so, and you're obviously a big part of like my love for Pink Floyd, so that's a big reason, as to why I got it. So, it'd be cool if we ended up if you got the same one and
matching tattoos,
like
a guy and a girl, girlfriend, boyfriend.
No, but that's sweet. Fathers and sons, I see all online, they do that. And but let me tell you, my next two, because I'm already, that's the other thing that also starts to happen is like, I remember saying to myself, oh, I'm only going to get one.
Right. Okay. Becomes a collection.
It becomes a collection of these memories and these pieces throughout your life. Like people tend to get tattoos when they go visit different places. And if they have like these really like big moments in their life, like my friend, he traveled to a country for the first time and was so like just taken away by his experience he had there that he got like the language. He got like a word that really resonated with him or a phrase, but he got it in the language that they speak in said country. And like, that's on him forever. But it's like, it'll always remind him of like where he was, why he got it, who he was with when he got it, what it means to him. Like that to me is so cool. So my next two, because I'm already thinking, are sick. Like I can't wait to get my next one because I know like I've worked really hard with my friend. Shout out Gwen, who I think you've met. I worked with Gwen at Ruka in Boston.
Okay,
good friend of mine, talented artist. Just graduated from Mass Art in May, so really cool and super talented. And she and I had been like just bouncing ideas off of each other because I can't draw it, but I know what I want it to be. And so for months, maybe like 2 months, we've been 3 months just going back and forth, like exchanging ideas. And do you like this? Oh, I drew this up. What do we think of that? Do we want to change this, move this around? And we finally came to a,
Let's go.
yeah. So I came to a conclusion, and like she came to a conclusion as well, designed it, and it's
But
done.
you're
And
not going to tell me what it is, and you're not going to
no,
tell the audience what it's
no,
good.
can't.
Save it.
I'm gonna
Save it.
save it, and when
Mhm.
I get it, you'll see, and
Okay.
you're gonna be like, whoa. But I don't know where
Looking
it's gonna
forward to
go.
it.
Don't know where
Looking
it's gonna
forward
go.
to it.
So
Looking
how was
forward.
your ride today?
You know what? My ride was pretty amazing. It was really hot, about 112 degrees. I hit coming up Sepulveda.
Oh,
I got buzzed by a Porsche that had, straight pipes on it, and my heart rate skyrocketed for about 10 minutes.
whoa.
I was really uncomfortable with that. I went to the Palisades because the Palisades reopened.
Wow.
And yeah, a lot of empty lots, a few homes still standing, a few lots not cleaned up yet, a few homes starting to get rebuilt already.
Really?
I did pass a restaurant, and they were crowded. People
Oh,
sitting outside. It was really nice. A lot of construction trucks, a lot of cops because the cops, like, even though they opened up the streets, there's a big LAPD presence there. It's really sad. It's really sad. It's miles and square miles of just empty lots. And I took a lot of pictures, and it was really sad to see. But
why'd you take pictures
there's
if you don't
hope.
mind me asking?
Kind of like your tattoos. I have pictures now, and it's like I want to like hold on to them because it's my city. And
That's fair.
on the 8th of January or the 7th of January, that was one thing. Now this is kind of another. And I headed west on Sunset Boulevard, and I mean, just the destruction. I took Sunset Boulevard all the way to PCH. The destruction is so unbelievable. It's mind boggling. But yeah. And so when I came home, I had a great ride, about 55 miles. It was really fun. And when I came home, I got on Instagram, and there is this thing in LA called CicLAvia. Familiar with it?
Oh my gosh, I remember CicLAvia.
Yeah, I think we've done it.
We've done
we've
it.
done
Yeah.
it a few times. What they do is they close the streets and they pick certain neighborhoods, Van Nuys, Compton, and downtown LA.
I've done it in Brentwood.
Okay, in Brentwood. And I got a notification on Instagram that this Sunday's CicLAvia, which is in a part of town that has a big Hispanic community, is postponed. Yeah. Kind of fucked up what this administration's doing. They're afraid to get together.
That just really almost choked. That just almost brought me to tears. That is, oof,
I was on a bike ride with my friend Elizabeth and my friend Mark on Sunday. We were in Griffith Park, and a lot of political talk going back and forth. And we rode our bikes past Shane's Inspiration. Shane's Inspiration is a park, a lot of, like, I don't want to say merry-go-rounds, but climbing apparatuses. And
you used to take me when I was a kid.
We used to take you there.
It's cute.
It was like a day
I remember
trip.
it.
Yeah. Wasn't the local park for us, but it
Certainly
was,
not. Yeah.
We drove 20 minutes for it. And bathrooms are there, and food vendors, and families like putting up tables with tons of food on it, and tents and everything,
birthday parties and blow ups. And
let me tell you, this is Father's Day last Sunday.
Right.
And at 11:40 in the morning, this place was empty.
Oh,
they are afraid to congregate.
Yeah.
And it's really sad. It's really sad what this fucking administration is doing. And, speaking to some other people I know, they're afraid to go to church. They're afraid to go to graduations. And it's really, really unfortunate. This is what's happening in this fucking country.
No, it's terrible. It's terrible. And well, I want to address the first part, which is about the fires and everything in the Palisades. Are the homes that are still up, from what you could see, from what you can gather from customers, maybe, are people still living out there? Like the homes that have kind of been untouched?
No, there's no sign of life living in homes. A lot of the homes that are standing are kind of boarded up. Um, they have some you can see some smoke damage. No signs of people living up there. I think that's going to be a long while. I've heard that there's electricity up there. There's got to be electricity up there because I went into the Shell station. I bought a bottle of water. And like I said, the restaurant was open. So,
and then obviously just addressing what you just said, like it's so sad that, again, and we said it last week, we're obviously speaking from a very like privileged perspective, and I mean, can't imagine the fear that has been, instilled in these people that are have every right to be in their city, their state, and this country the same amount of rights that I do to be in this city, state, and country. It's just it's so sad, and it's getting worse on different accounts. I mean, setting aside what's going on with ICE, I mean, did you see what happened today with the Supreme Court and the LGBTQ community
in Tennessee, yeah.
I mean, what the fuck is that? What is
Oh,
that?
Max, you know what?
And it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me that they would uphold something like this in a country that, like, these pharmaceutical companies and Medicare companies, like, they yearn to squeeze every dollar out of.
Right, but you're talking about what they did, what they decided with young adults, right? With teenagers, with kids, right? Is that what we're talking about? Okay, Max, you know what? I can tell you from experience that my 18-year-old, my 17-year-old son was not fully developed mentally. So I'm not in complete disagreement. I don't think parents should allow their kids, and certainly kids can't make that decision yet, that I want to have, something taken off, or I want to be in, hormone therapy. Oof. I just don't agree with it, Max. You know what? Do whatever you want. Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Once, you're 20, 21, the brain is fully developed. Do whatever you want. But I don't think a 9-year-old, can make that decision, and I don't think the parents should be making that decision for them. I really don't, Max. I mean, that's how I feel about it. Look, I think at the end of the day, the Supreme Court shouldn't get involved in it. Just, people should do whatever the fuck they want to do. But I don't agree with it. And this is me speaking as a 55-year-old guy. I'm not.
So. Okay, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to. I think you're gonna have to walk back what you just said, because if we were to have a replay button, what you just said,
right? I said do whatever you want. I understand what I said,
right?
I just, you know what? I don't think the Supreme Court should get involved in it, but I think if you're gonna let your 8-year-old have a sex change, I mean, the parents should go to fucking jail for that. Or something, something should.
Ooh,
yeah, Max, I'm against it. I gotta tell you, I'm against it.
So something else that happened today,
Max. I think a lot of people would say the same thing.
I'm sure they would, but
do whatever you want when you're 21 years old. Do whatever you want.
I'm sure they would. But something even bigger happened today with the LGBTQ plus community, which I think is also important to address, which is the fact that the Trump administration shut down the youth suicide prevention hotline
in 30 days. They're going to shut it down. Yes, and I think that I think that's terrible, and this is why.
Of course, it's terrible, and that's why your opinion is really interesting. No. I'm not calling you out. What I'm saying is, I'm just trying to understand. And I'm not saying I'm right either. I'm just trying to understand.
The
generational gap.
I get that. The community has mental health problems, I should say, and that they might need someone to talk to. They might need someone to talk them out of it and maybe say, listen, just wait a little while longer. See what happens when you're 21 years old, see what happens. I mean, I don't know exactly. Is the suicide hotline just for everybody? Is it for everybody, even if you're 50
I
years
could call
old?
it right now.
Yeah. I think that's pretty terrible. I think that's a service
Awful.
that the government should provide. But, I think that they're doing the wrong thing there.
Of course they're doing the wrong thing. And what's crazy is like you say, that the Supreme Court shouldn't be getting involved.
Yeah.
And then they're getting involved.
No, I know. I sound like a hypocrite.
No, you don't. You don't. That's not what I'm saying.
I do.
It's a tough conversation, Dad. And not because one side is right and one side is wrong. It's a tough conversation because there is no right or wrong answer. Your opinion is your opinion, and there's plenty of people that agree with your opinion.
It's kind of like the abortion thing, Max. It's like, why is the government getting involved in this? They shouldn't get involved. Just do whatever the fuck you want. What a woman should do whatever she wants to do to her body. Fine. Like, why is the government getting involved in that?
So you want to hear something crazy? And it actually came up on The Pit, which, by the way, almost done with season 1. They just started filming season 2. Can't wait. We have 3 episodes left in season 1. We're gonna finish it tonight. It's sick.
You didn't quite binge it. It got good, right?
It got really good.
Wait, but did the thing happen? The big thing happen?
I don't know. Stop. Okay, so but something that was addressed in an earlier episode, which I think actually relates to what we're talking about here, is a girl comes in, very young. She could not have been more than 16 years old. Mm-hmm. She's looking to get an abortion. And her mother is
we will raise this baby.
Right. Her mother says, like, no, you're not going to do that, blah, 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 blah. And something really interesting that was said was, well, while the nurse or the doctor agreed and was standing by the daughter, mm-hmm. not the mother, they did say, unfortunately, though, because you are a minor, this is still the adult's decision. So here's where I disagree with what you're saying.
Okay.
Is taking it, one step back further to our conversation about like transgender rights and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Is how are you going to tell a 16-year-old the same, like, if a 16-year-old wants to get an abortion, then that same 16-year-old should be able to do whatever they want to their body. Because didn't you just say, like, if you want an abortion, you should be able to get one, right? It's kind of what you just said.
Yeah, I did say that.
So, I'm just trying to understand.
You're right. And you know what? You're 100% right. And I'm a hypocrite. No. You're not a hypocrite. I can own it. But like,
it's a slippery slope. And you know what? The government shouldn't be involved.
Okay,
period.
So as a 16-year-old pregnant girl, and
again, this is coming from 2 men.
It can be a very great decision. Right? Mm-hmm. It could be a horrific decision. I'm sure there's plenty of 17-year-old moms out there who are amazing parents, amazing moms.
Sure.
Okay. But going to the transgender thing, that's, it's a big decision. They're both big decisions, but you know what? Then call me old school. Max,
it's fine to call you old school.
Your sister, when you were 10, 11 years old, if you had come to me and be like, I want to change my sex, I'm not comfortable in the body that I'm in, I would have been like, well, let's figure this out in another 10 or 11 years. Let's see how you're feeling then, and then you can do whatever you want.
Can I just say a disclaimer? The government
doesn't have to pay for it. Yes.
An uninterrupted disclaimer is that we're obviously 2 very white privileged men saying this. So mm-hmm. So I just want to be clear that while this is a podcast we are putting out online, we're not having this conversation for your entertainment. We're actually just at first it was just a real conversation, and now it's an even more real conversation. And I want the audience to know that you and I would be having this conversation even if the camera and the microphones weren't on.
Yeah.
And I want to make that very clear.
Absolutely. I've had this conversation with my friends.
Yeah, I just want to make that clear.
I have a few friends I've had this conversation with, and but I'll tell you, Max, they're all my age, so it doesn't get heated.
I'm not saying it's getting heated.
No, but like,
but I'm sure you both agree with each other.
There's no disagreement. And and I would safe to say that, if I was talking to a grandfather or two,
it'd be way worse.
They would not disagree. They would not agree with you. There's a few females in my life who would not agree with you.
Look, go somewhere. But
they're 55 years old.
Go somewhere in Middle America. I'm sure they would. 100%.
They will not agree with you either.
Yeah, they would. They would actually probably want. They would want me for blood if they heard
Max,
what I was saying.
What we're talking about is such a small percentage of the U.S. population or the world population that want to have a sex change because they don't feel comfortable in their own skin. I mean, and do you see the conversation that's out there? I mean, this was such a big thing during the election cycle. Like transgender, military people.
No, you know what? You know why? Because one administration would have something to say about it and the other one wouldn't. And that's why this small population, I mean, it's the same. This small population matters. It's the same with any small population out there. They matter. And what's really disheartening is that this government feels that they need to have a say in it. That's bottom line. That is the worst part, but that's why it's talked about when election season comes around, because these people who, again, like you just said, are a small part of the population, get very scared. Very scared.
I'm sorry. It's funny. It's funny you just said that this administration has a lot to say about it because Republicans are notorious for saying less government, less government, less government.
Right.
And you know what, Republicans? Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Now they want more government.
And now they want more. And, my right-wing friends are like, yeah, well, the Democrats are communists. I'm like really communists? And it's fascinating to me that this conversation and the conversation I have with many people in my life, because, it's a fucking weird world we live in right now, a weird country we live in right now. And, the Republicans, want X, Y, and Z. Democrats are kind of fucking quiet at this point. Yeah. And, and to me, these Republicans, it's like I said, they want less and less government, but they're throwing down a lot of stuff right now, and which is going to affect most of the country. It's already affecting most of the country.
Can we talk about this weird world for a second? I mean, as far as like entertainment goes, So like, why is it that every single piece of like television or cinema why is it just like being remade? Or we've seen it before. It's being like recycled. The ideas are being recycled, reimagined. That's my least favorite. Oh, it's a reimagining. Make something original. Like that's why I loved Sinners so much, and that's why I told you go see it. Nothing's been made like it.
And I read something about it. Some actor said that's one of the greatest movies he's seen in a long time.
What I said.
Max. The truth is, it's just like, how many creative things can these writers come up with? I'm sure it's happening, but I'm sure, there's a studio guy saying, hey, AI, give me the most original screenplay you've ever seen. I want 250 pages and it's about this X, Y, and Z. And I'm sure it's happening, even though, there was a writer's strike that decimated the city to stop it from happening. And I'm sure it is happening at this point.
I mean, so why is it that everything that is being reimagined or remade or recycled or getting a sequel these days, why is it all from a franchise that was birthed when you were a kid? Like, think about it. Star Wars, Jurassic Park, Indiana Jones.
Yeah, there's new Jurassic Park coming.
Like you were, I mean, pretty young when all these things came out. What?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. Like, I mean, I hear the last Mission Impossible did not do well. Mission Impossible did not do well, but it's kind of cool. It's the same guy playing it all these years, Tom Cruise.
Yeah,
And,
but it's
Indiana
stale.
Jones and Indiana Jones, I mean, I like the movies. I know how people feel about them.
I love them.
And Harrison once told me that Indiana Jones is going to die with him. He's like, there's no way anyone's gonna remake it with anybody else.
Right.
And I thought to myself, well, Disney will have something else to say about that when you're no longer here.
Yeah, didn't they want Chris Pratt a few years ago? Wasn't that like,
I mean, maybe, yeah. I've heard Chris Pratt. Yeah, I've heard a couple people, who knows? But it's just no originality. You're right. I mean, it's just
but it's
the way Hollywood goes.
It's honestly frustrating though, because like luckily there's a lot of movies coming out this summer that are very original that I'm looking forward to. The Materialists is one with Chris Evans and Pedro Pascal and Dakota Johnson, who I know you like, and Eddington.
I like Pedro Pascal. I like Dakota Johnson. I don't like her.
Okay, well, anyways, you used to like her.
Love him.
Chris Evans, you love.
Chris Evans, yeah.
And Eddington is coming out this summer, made by the guy who did Midsummer, which I've shown you.
Joaquin Phoenix is in that.
Joaquin Phoenix, Emma Stone, and
Austin Butler. Austin Butler. Yeah.
So original because like it literally is about like it's like a horror western that takes place during COVID, and like we've really yet to see like COVID movies, COVID television.
What does that mean?
No, like for example, COVID being like worked into a Hollywood story.
Right.
Like, we haven't seen that yet.
Right.
So that's original. That's original.
No, I think that's great. I mean, look, it's a half a decade behind us,
right.
Even though there's a new variant in California that gives you razor sore throat because it feels like it's been all over the news. Like you feel like you have razor blades, but yeah, I remember like when it was finally okay to make movies about 9/11. And then back in the 80s, I'm dating myself. It was finally okay to make movies about Vietnam.
Right.
So yeah, good. Right. It's kind of crazy.
So Eddington, you're gonna have to go see because apparently, I mean, it's right up your alley. It's about an election in a small town. Oh no, cramp.
Yeah. Fuck. Okay. Continue. Yeah, it's a small town. Sheriff played by Joaquin Phoenix, and
and the mayor of the town is Pedro Pascal, and it's an election.
Yeah,
and it takes place during COVID, and it's a horror film. So I'm really excited to see how this plays out.
Could be interesting. Could be interesting.
Good. But that's the direction Hollywood needs. I went back in time and watched a movie that I've now told you to go watch, and you started watching it.
Mm-hmm.
That came out, I think 2016, so almost 10 years ago, and we just totally missed it. But so original because the whole, the movie is Arrival by Denis Villeneuve, and it's original in the sense that like totally original story.
Yeah.
And the only part that's been done before is like it's about extraterrestrials, right? And there's a billion movies about aliens and whatnot, but the story is so original.
Yeah,
so original. And because like I kept thinking while I'm watching it, I'm like, okay, let's see how similar it is to some of the other alien movies I've seen, like Alien and Signs and E.T., and it's like nothing like those.
Right.
Like nothing.
Right.
So to
War
me,
of the Worlds.
War of the Worlds, nothing
Tom
like
Cruise,
it.
War of the
War of the Worlds is great, but it's
Right.
nothing like it. And like,
Right.
so I just appreciated the originality of it, and it made me think. It honestly made me think of you, and I think I just need to start finding like really original movies. There's so many out there, but unfortunately, it's like the ones that get the most amount of attention by the media and the most amount of marketing are those big budget remakes.
Like I'm starting to see a lot of stuff for Jurassic Park, and I got to tell you something. I saw the first one in 1993, and I was blown away by it.
Right,
it was great, and I always like I'll watch it when it comes out on streaming, but like I'm not going to run to the theaters for it. It's
exactly
not, it's unfortunate, and it's probably looks great in the theater, and that one has what's her name?
Scarlett Johansson, who by the way, I can't stand her. I watched her on No.
Oh,
So I loved Marriage Story. Her and Adam Driver also probably a
That was a good
movie
one.
that's almost 10 years old now. Like
Um,
amazing. And then, I hadn't seen her in anything but like the Marvel movies. She's fun in those. I saw Black Widow, thought it was one of the worst movies I've ever seen. And
yeah, pretty
then
bad.
she did SNL like the 50th season finale. And I was sitting on the couch with Damaris and we were like, is this how she behaves? Is this how she acts? Like we were just like, no. Like immediately like you ain't it, girl. You are not it. So I am
Mm,
off the ScarJo. I'm off the
okay.
ScarJo bandwagon.
ScarJo. She has a
She's got a
nickname like that.
nickname in Hollywood.
ScarJo.
Yeah, ScarJo. I'm off the bandwagon. Not a fan. But Dad,
Okay.
before we wrap it up, because this is things you should ask your dad, and I want to ask you. You're a big, big food guy. You cook a lot of food. What are you
Yeah.
cooking tonight? What's for dinner?
Um, I'm not going to do much. I have some broccoli in the house. I have that wonderful chicken teriyaki from Trader Joe's,
Oh, nice.
and I have rice, and that will make me 2 meals. So I think I'm going to have it for dinner tonight and then lunch tomorrow.
Ooh, nice.
And I made last night. I had spinach and ricotta, cheese ravioli with
Oh.
ground turkey in it and tomato sauce. That was a good meal. It took all of 15 minutes to make.
Nice.
That was a good one.
Quick and easy.
It's been, I have to admit, it's been a little difficult lately to cook because your sister was in town for a couple of weeks. And,
Pickiest eater I know.
and
Love her.
I kind of made an announcement to your mother and her early on that I'm not cooking for you guys because
Okay.
I did this, and I know I sound like an asshole, but I did this because I don't want to be cooking 2 different meals, one for me
Well,
and your
that
mother,
makes sense.
because I know what your mother is going to eat. She's not going to eat steak, but I can make her chicken and
Yeah,
rice
she'll eat what you
and
eat.
pasta. Yeah, but Brian, totally different, and so I was like, I'm not doing anything, because I work hard, I come home, and I'm just like, I'm not dealing.
Did
So
you keep an Uba Tuba count while she was home?
I think there were like 6.
Atta girl. Love you,
Yeah,
Ryan.
girl, you're the best, Ryan. Hope you had a
Well,
safe flight.
Well, thanks for asking. I am cooking.
Yeah.
Kidding.
What are you
Yeah,
making?
I'm gonna make some like
Chicken thighs.
chicken thigh with no, seriously, chicken thigh with pasta and then shrimp as well.
Shrimp. Wow.
Yeah.
Little surf and turf there.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Does
Surfing and
does
turfing.
Damaris eat that?
She does, but not tonight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
you're on your own for dinner, or
I'm on my own. We actually don't cook together. That's something we got to start doing. We got to cook together. I've asked her to do that. I think that would be nice.
Your mother and I cook together all the time. She's usually on her phone on the couch, and I'm usually in the kitchen. She's about 12 feet away from me, and so
Right.
we're together. But yeah, we
Hey,
don't actually
as long as you're
cook
together.
But sometimes she does the food prep, so that's kind of it helps.
That's nice of her.
Because sometimes she'll do the food prep as I'm coming home from work, and then
Yeah.
I'm the one who sits at the stove or the oven, and
Well,
That's
hey,
good. It's okay.
Dad, tell the people what do you want them to do?
I want them to subscribe. I want
Please.
them to like,
Please.
please. I want them to tell their friends
Please
and keep tuning in.
tune in every week. Follow us at Things You Should Ask Your Dad, posting clips from every episode. So if you can't catch us here on YouTube or Spotify, you can catch some of the highlights over on our Instagram. And Dad, love doing this with you. Love you
I
lots.
love you, Max.
Love
Speak to you
Dad.
later.
Alrighty.